Yes, I know we're a little late. Unfortunately, we do have to blame the English for that. They were having a few problems over there in Leicester in the UK. So, but we got it done. We really did. It's Friday, coming into a brand spanking new weekend, July the 7th. And let me do this.
Galaxy 107fm.
Now, I don't know whether I've got the right person or not, to be honest with you. I was running down the list of music that we have coming up, and the very first song, Can't Get Enough by Johnny Young. And he goes, can't get enough. Okay, so I tell you what, we're going to run it anyway and see if he does own it. We'll find out momentarily. You're right here at Galaxy. By the way, it is nice to have everybody along. It's one of those days, I've got to be honest with you. Thank you for joining us. Now, if you're a first-time viewer, why not do this? Sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Bell notifications when we have important people, much like Johnny Young coming out of California. Maybe it's California, you never know. Might be somewhere else. You know what artists are like. They say, oh, yeah, I come from Wisconsin, but I'm living in Antarctica on holiday. It's like, well, we've booked it for Wisconsin time. I know, okay, well, sorry, I was also going to give you Chicago, but, I didn't quite make it there. So, and yeah, it happens, doesn't it? Anyway, welcome along. Why not subscribe? Become part of the family. We call it the noise here at Galaxy, simply because it is getting louder and louder and louder every day. You guys tell us how you enjoy the music, the artists, everything like that. We listen, we really do. Nice to have you on board, and it is getting loud too. Thumb, you know what to do with that. Yeah, get epileptic with it. Give us the loves, all that sort of stuff. Nice to have you on board. So in the meantime, we're going to discover whether Johnny Young can't get enough or not.
What does it sound like?
Is that yours?
Nope.
Then why am I playing? Why has it got Johnny Young? I tell you what, I'm going to get.
Maybe it's the Australian '60s singer Johnny Young. Are you familiar with him?
No, but it sounds like we need. Dear idea.
Well, it is a common name, and in this day and age, there's lots of people running around making music, and so it could happen.
So somebody out there is an imposter.
It sounded pretty good. Maybe I should take credit for it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I wrote that in my sleep. 7 years old.
Okay, and you just happened to be in Australia at the time or something like that, right?
Yeah, New Jersey, Australia, what's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. They both speak the same sort of language, don't they? Same accent.
Both got a little twang, got a wang to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you met many Australians?
A few, yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
I have a good friend that lives in Queensland, I believe. Yeah,
that's the place where all the men dress up in dresses and go drive fast and past cars called drag racing, isn't
it? you would know better than me.
Yeah, well, I've seen pictures.
Ah,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Except with Barbie's going soon.
He was the guy that introduced me to Vegemite, though. I had never had it before, and then I got to try that old green salty fish food type stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Well, Vegemite has got, well, let me put it this way. There's Marmite that's got balls, and then there's Vegemite, which is like the girls' version, okay?
Ah, gotcha.
That's what Australians eat.
Vegemite's made out of as a vegetable product, and Marmite is a meat-based product.
Okay, I've just been...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I heard that.
That's very interesting too, because really... I've wondered about these products that are made out of plants. You know what I mean?
Honestly, some of them are a little suspect for sure.
Yeah, well, you got to wonder how the hell you get a plant to taste like a beef.
Yeah, it's true. Lots of weird stuff thrown at it, I guess.
Well,
and,
isn't that defeating the purpose?
It really is. I mean, you're kind of skirting around the issue, which is you want to eat healthy or just eat your Brussels sprouts and. Get with it.
And how the hell do you milk an almond?
Yeah, that's what I've been saying for a long time. Add a lot of water, I think.
Well, confusing, believe me. I'm only a DJ. It happens often. Anyway, we're going to do this. Well, it was Johnny Young, but it isn't Johnny Young. Gonzo, Toblerone, you're fired. No, believe me, it really does say Johnny Young, but it isn't owned by the Johnny Young coming out of California. And so, nice to meet you. Welcome to Galaxy.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. Been a blast thus far, and thanks again for having me way over there, calling from the future. You are.
Yeah, we're the first country to see the light of day every day.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's really great.
But that just means everybody else is so, behind us.
Yesterday.
It's true. It's true. You guys are way ahead of the curve, so to speak.
Yeah, and we were talking about Australians and stuff like that. They absolutely love the idea that they're just so behind. It's just, well, you never know. Did your friend from Australia ever mention a thing called rugby union?
Well, I'm familiar with rugby. Yeah, he didn't go too far into it, but I think he might actually dabble in the sport.
Okay, well, let me just clarify a few things, especially for Americans. Rugby union is football, not with the round ball, with the oval ball, without pads and helmets. Literally.
Yeah.
And we don't throw forward, we throw side back, if you know what I mean. Now, we have the All Blacks here in New Zealand, which is quite a formidable team, formerly world champions and everything like that. Australia has the Wallabies, sorry. Yeah, 30 odd years, nothing in the cabinet. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. When they come over here, try and take us on for a cup or two, we always send them home the same way they came.
Now, what time of year is the season for rugby over there?
Pretty much right now, to be honest. In fact,
Makes sense because it's cool.
Yeah, the season literally, I don't think there is a close to the season anymore because we head over to other countries while they're having winter as well and go and play them. Places like France, England, all through the UK. And from time to time we end up in America and Canada and places like that. Really weird countries. We go to weird countries. We do. Now,
yeah, up across the equator, which has to throw people off a little bit,
Exactly. Now, you're in LA right now, is that right?
No, I'm about 8 hours north. I'm up in Mendocino County, which is right where the redwood forests start.
Okay, fair enough. Believe me, I was talking to somebody the other day, and he says, I'm here. So we sort of got everything going for the time there, and he ended up being in a completely different country altogether.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess it happens.
Yeah, it does.
Good to clarify.
Well,
but I was speaking to Barbara last night just to nail down the fact that we had our time straight and geographic regions were locked in.
Yeah, believe me, she told me literally, and when I got into work this morning, I said the Techo guys had been acknowledging that you were with Skype and everything like that. And I'm glad that they do, because believe me, if they don't do it, then I've got to wait for Barbara to come in and do it because, every time I touch a computer, it seems to want to just give up the life it's got in it. You know what I mean?
You got the magic touch.
Yeah, the death touch.
You're probably not too great around slot machines, too, I imagine, in casinos. You're what they call a cooler.
Yeah, well, every time I play a slot machine or a game, all it does is spit money at me. It's so insulting.
Well, that's a good thing. That's the opposite then. That means you're on fire.
Yeah, but, when you get 10, when you walk past them and they're all doing it, everybody's looking at you like... You know what I mean? Yeah, it can be quite testing. Mike Willis is joining us. Sean Adams is joining us as well. Terry Williams and Anthony Ligori Jr. Anthony, been a long time. Yeah, look, absolutely fantastic artist is Anthony, and it's been a while since we've caught up. I would love to be able to have a chat with you, find out what's happening in your life. I really, really would. So keep in touch, Anthony. Please do that. Now, having said that, my friend, we didn't start off with Can't Get Enough, your style, but we are going to warn you, literally, you know, this is going to be like no other interview you've ever done before. So I better ask, I don't know why, but people all around the world ask the exact same question, literally. Now, Johnny, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you a talker? Do you Reddit? But more importantly, do you respond?
Is that the question? Yeah, to people, of course. Yeah, I'm very interactive, and that's one of the blessings of not being a big star. I really pride myself on being underground, maintaining that independent mantra, and where I'm very entrenched and personal with people. And I love that, because without people, the music is heard by nobody. So I'm all about it. In fact, I don't play cities. I avoid cities. I try to go for small towns and communities that appreciate it. And I forge longer lasting relationships with people and fans in those types of situations. So I'm all about it. I love it.
That's interesting. That really is, because most artists that I know, they strive to get on the big stage in front of the big people, if you know what I mean, and have the big crowds and all that sort of stuff. I absolutely admire what you're doing, I've got to be honest, but, well, now the secret's out. You're in almost every English-speaking country in the world, and some that aren't too, by the way. I don't know how that works, but I'm going to take it. I really am. Nick Plews is joining us as well. Nick, good morning to you, sir. We just did an interview with Nick Plews in the Heartland Roots Band coming out of Leicester in the UK. So
all right.
He's the one that's responsible for why we're a bit late, to be honest with you. But we're not going to give you any stick, are we, Nick? Nah, not at all. So I do have to ask you, and I want to double check this now, One Bar Town.
Yes, sir. Case in point, I always come back to this little tiny town, Calpella, California, where the people are really good. They sell me on a merchandise, and it is in fact a one-bar town. And a lot of the songs on this album were real easy to write because they're all truth. They just come from personal experience, and this one, like I said, was just a no-brainer. Just fell right out of me.
You know, I talk to artists every day and bands every day and hear music every day. The one thing I have discovered is these lyrics that are written down on a napkin at McDonald's, if you know what I mean, the 5 minutes, it only took me 5 minutes to write and record and everything. They have the longevity. They seem to hang in there longer than anything at all, to be honest. I find this every time. Nick says good morning from all of us in the little island. Okay, Britain's not a little island, really. And country music, social media, Ken, it is nice to have you on board as well. Please keep up the good work that you send us all these wonderful artists. Love, love, love it. Good on you. In the meantime, joining us live is Johnny Young and One Bar Town at Galaxy.
Yeah, that's me.
So, having done your homework and knowing now that the music's playing, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
You are, right, okay. Pandemic. What was it like for you through the pandemic?
Well, you know, it all kind of came at once. I ended my relationship with my lady after 5 years of living together. The dog died. My dad died. I lost all my gigs for that year. So I said, you know, that sounds like a country song.
It kind of does, actually.
If you listen to the lyrics of Life is a Country Song, that's what it says right there. So I decided I was going to go out to Nashville, and we worked in a very sterile environment. Everybody wore masks. We washed our hands. We did the distant hug. We didn't really carouse too much. And we got this album done through it all. And it was just a blessing. I really thank my producer out in Nashville, Smith Curry, and his team for risking stuff because they have families and stuff. But we all needed to work in some respect. So that's what it was about for me. I gained a lot of weight because normally I sweat a lot at shows. I'm hustling, I'm bustling. And but I tried to just stay safe and very conscious of the whole situation. But it was that's what it was. I just tried to stay productive, and luckily we're finally starting to come out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's put that one behind. Through the pandemic, I got a friend of mine, literally, she's blind, legally blind, and I was going to the supermarket one day, and she's standing there looking really, really worried, and I says, "What's the matter, Donna? What's up?" And she goes, "What's the one thing a blind person doesn't need to read?" And I went, "What?" She goes, "Don't touch."
Yeah.
In the pandemic, that's the last thing you want to read, especially at the supermarket.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine, somebody who is, debilitated from a lack of, sight, or even being deaf, to heed the warnings properly in those types of situations,
Yep. Talking of supermarket, the other day I was in it really was quite random. I just went in to go and buy a couple of packets of chewing gum and stuff like this, and this lady's staring at me, and I went, "What the heck?" Wondered what was going on. She's staring hard at me, and I'm going, you smile, you be polite, right? And she looks at me and she goes, "You look nothing like your cartoon." That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, well, a little shaky start on who owned what music, but we got through that, we really did, and we're joined by Johnny Young, the man himself, believe me, not the imposter, the man himself is joining us. Nicole Danielle is joining us as well, nice to have you on board. Nicole, Keisha, Martin, nice to have you on board as well, and believe me, I'm very, very fascinated by Johnny Young. Now, Johnny, you've been doing this since what, about 6 years of age?
Yeah, I did my first show when I was 6.
Okay, so you've only been doing it a couple of weeks?
Yeah, about 18 months, actually.
Right, okay, so nice to know. I was talking to you about the pandemic area and everything like that, and now that we've come through the other side of it, do you have any shows going on at the moment? You got any bookings going on?
A lot. Yeah, I'm getting ready to leave on tour next week, and things are finally, like I said, starting to get back to normal.
That's fantastic, because through that period, all I would hear from bands is, "Oh, we're not working, all we're doing is writing, recording, and we're doing it by the internet-y, webby thing." And I'm thinking to myself, how fantastic is it to be able to use equipment to be able to create and make music through this era of the pandemic. But yeah, I get it. Nobody was working. Nobody was making money. Because a lot of the bands, and I don't know whether it's like that for you, but I kind of figure that singers and bands feed off the energy of a crowd, and the crowd does the same thing, if you know what I mean. It's reciprocal.
It's everything.
And through that period, it's like being an addict. You've just got to get out there and get on that stage. If not, you're going through withdrawal symptoms, right?
It's true, yeah. Also, as I stated, I was starting to gain weight in places that I've never gained weight before because I wasn't using my body in a physical sense like I'm used to doing, Used to run around sweating, loading equipment, rocking out on stage, and all of a sudden I've turned into a, chicken parmesan eating sloth, watching TV all day. So it's really nice to get back to it.
I get that, I really do. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not smuggling a wok so much, but my six-pack now has just become a pub pet.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got a keg.
Yeah, but it's, paid for.
We'll tap that thing. Let's have a party.
Yeah, that's what my wife's saying as well. Yeah, she goes, if I hit it, will it move by itself and continuously keep going? Can we make energy from it? I'm going, yeah, well, give me a few more months and we'll work on it. Shimmer Johnson's joining us. Nice to have you on board, Shimmer. It really, really is. Now, Johnny, literally, through the period of the pandemic-y thing, were you creating new albums to come up in the near future?
Yeah, that was the basis. That was about all I could do. I had my friends out in Nashville, my producer. They were continuing to work because the industry keeps moving, and they found a way to stay, safe and still record in separate rooms with, separation. So you'd have one person in one booth and another person in another booth. Well, I was able to tap into that. So I drove across the country to Nashville and got to work with these guys in that sense. So that was the culmination of my album. And a lot of the material written was, composed during that pandemic time. So it's conveyed in a lot of the music too. If you listen to the lyrics, it's really indicative of everything I was going through and maybe a lot of other people were at the same time.
I get that. I really, really do. The one thing I didn't get through the pandemic era, I don't know whether it was where you were, but you'd go to shops or you'd go to supermarkets, whatever, and they'd have these big perspex kind of glass windows that you would talk to, but they would have a hole in it where you were going to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a few restaurants in Nashville were like that. It was like nothing but a cloudy piece of plastic and an arm coming out with a plate, and that was the to-go service, and it was like, okay, well, whatever works, we gotta eat, people gotta work, and trying to stay safe, I appreciate people being conscientious of that stuff and thinking of other people,
Well, the weird thing was you could actually go to a bank with a hat and a mask on and get away with it. You know what I mean?
I know, it was the weirdest thing, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Now if you go in with a gorilla mask, they will arrest you.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's certain places where you can still do it, and it's socially acceptable.
Yeah, well, we've still got to get the mantra like they had in the United States. Are you familiar with the documentarist Michael Moore?
Of course.
He goes to a bank and gets a gun. Yeah.
Open a new account, and we'll give you a 30-06 rifle. Yeah.
That's just fantastic. How the heck can we introduce that to New Zealand banking systems?
Well, I don't know. What would be the alternative over there? Because there's not a whole lot of guns in that country, is there?
Well, they don't throw money at us. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They're very shy at doing that. They're very quick at taking yours, but they don't want to throw you any. I've got to be honest with you there. But, give me a gun and we'll discuss my bank account. Here in New Zealand, back in the day, we had places called the post office, where you could not only post letters and send parcels and stuff, but it did a banking service as well. And we used to have these little banking envelopes. You open it up, it was like a little book. And they would handwrite in, by the way, the amount you've deposited, what your balance is, and give it a stamp, right?
Sure.
And a couple of summers ago, I went to the post office and I says to my bank manager, daylight saving, how much have I saved this summer? And he looks at me and goes, okay, hold on, and whips out the back, comes back with, and believe me, it was an archaic bank account book, but it was brain spanking new. He slides it across to me, and he says, there you go. And I opened it up, and it was empty. I says, there's nothing in it. He goes, no, it's full of daylight. And that was played on me, which is worse. I'm thinking I'm going to be smart. How much daylight have I saved? He got me. He really did. It don't get any contraria. Tell me about this.
Where I reside up in Northern California, I tour around and people are like, oh, you're from California. They immediately think of the stereotypes, Hollywood, big city, flashy. And so I kind of wrote this song as in defense of all that. And, getting thrown under that bus, so to speak. And it just talks about how rural this area is and how there's really not many places in the country that are more countryer than Mendocino County. We got the trees and the hills and the streams, and there are some hillbillies up in here. So yeah, I had to just kind of voice that in defense, because where I went, people just assumed, all Californians were all the same. We all drive, in gridlock traffic down the 405 in LA, and we're all trying to be movie stars. And, that's really not the case. It's a very big, diverse state. And as you travel it, you'll see it, but you have to kind of be here to witness it. So I just kind of provide some musical background to that.
Very, very cool. Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of loving this. I really, really am. And I'll let you know the process about getting the interview here at Galaxy while we're playing it. In the meantime, here at Galaxy, we are joined live by Johnny Young, the man himself, not the imposter that comes out of Australia. It don't get any contrarier or country area.
Countryer.
There you go. He's made it for me. You're right here at Galaxy. Dear. Phew. God, it's hot in here.
Yeah, it's not hot. It's only
Start
12
speaking
point
French
nine.
on me there.
I'm sorry?
Montreal.
Yeah, something like that. You're freezing. You're
Look, I've even got these on, look, which is unusual, look.
socks, yeah. It's 13 degrees and I'm sweating. Absolutely sweating.
Oh, you're going through the change of life.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, that's it.
Do I need cream for that?
Yeah.
I do.
Totally.
Okay.
Yep.
Bugger.
Well, it was 107 where I'm at a few days ago, Fahrenheit,
Okay.
and I had a show a couple hours north where it was comparable to where you guys are at temperature-wise, and man, that was so nice. Just so nice to be in that cool.
I hate the cold.
I don't like cold either, but I don't like 107 or 108 either. It's just too
I don't
hot.
know what that is.
Okay, no, I don't.
Celsius.
Well, it's about 30 odd
30, yeah.
degrees, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I really don't. See,
I
I'm
don't.
skinny. I got no fat on my bones, so the winter doesn't do me any favours. It really doesn't. I hate it. I do.
That's why you got the beard, right? Keep the wind off your neck. Just whoosh.
I just woke up one day and it was there.
Wow.
Yeah. I had one artist ask me, what do you feed that thing? I said female bass players.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's why it's grey.
That's why it's grey.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing an arm come flying in right now. Smack.
Strangely enough, she plays the bass.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on there. Nicely played, sir. Nicely played.
You're right. If you've seen these little chats in between the on-air stuff, you may have seen me ask questions like, are you a thinker? Are you one of these guys that likes to think positively, non-positive? The impossible possible, but couldn't possibly be logical. Have you ever tried that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I try to, think all kinds of different ways, and also try to think about how other people would think about things.
Okay, so we know how to measure the speed of light, but how fast is darkness?
That's right. Darkness is the big question, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of darkness, black matter, dark matter, as they say. What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're driving through space at the speed of light in your BMW,
Yeah.
would your headlights work effectively?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Of course they would.
Could your
because it
alternator
takes-
keep up? I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's not possible.
Try this one then. An electric train going from north to south at 120 kilometres an hour. Wind going from south to north at 110 kilometres an hour. Which direction is the wind blowing? Which direction is the smoke blowing?
Probably west to east.
It's an electric train.
Well, I didn't say the smoke was coming from the trains.
Yeah, well, it could be from the rusty guy at the back.
Could be from the passengers. You never know.
Yeah, well, as I said, the rusty guy in the back, yeah. I got a friend of mine who is a 5-star chef. He comes out of the Hyatt in Auckland. And I was talking to him the other day, and I just happened to say to him, what's the hardest thing about cooking in the kitchen? And he goes, vegetables. And I went, yep, know what you mean. Getting the wheelchairs in the oven must be a bitch. He looked at me and I says, bro, don't get me on vegetable oil, okay? Johnson & Johnson won't return my calls, my emails, nothing. They blacklisted me because I only simply asked how many babies goes in a bottle.
Fair question.
Yeah, well, I thought it was fair. I think it's 3 fat ones reduced down.
That makes sense. It's a small bottle now.
Yeah, they are. They're getting smaller by the day. Maybe they're starting, maybe they're starting to attack the height challenged ones these days. Beat them up but keep them short. Yeah, literally. I get it, believe me. Well, Girl Guide biscuits aren't made of Girl Guides, are they? And that really upset me. Still trying to find out if vegan sausages are made of real vegans, but that happens.
Is Prince Albert still in the can? I don't know. Did they ever let him out?
Depending on what sort of Prince Albert you were talking about now.
The tobacco.
Okay, well, I didn't know that because my brother has a Prince Albert and he finds it rather difficult getting through customs.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, that's a true story too. We went through Auckland Airport one day, my brother and I, we were heading to Australia, and he set all the bells and whistles off, and I went, what's going on? He goes, it's the Prince Albert. It's set, literally it did too, it set off all the, he's got a hidden weapon there now, and it's official on his, on his passport.
Nice.
Yeah, they'd stamped it, literally custom stamped it as a dangerous weapon to be watched out for in the future.
That just sounds wrong.
Well, you should meet my brother.
Does he have a beard too?
No, he's more. Here's a question for you. Are you familiar with Tarzan?
The Lord of the Apes, yeah.
Yeah, Lord Greystoke. Why doesn't he have a beard? I mean, it's not like he could go down to the grocers and get Gillettes or anything like that, is it?
Yeah, I never thought about that, but yeah, the man's pretty much hairless for a guy raised by primates.
Yeah.
I think he would have taken on some of those attributes to some extent.
Exactly. So, as you now find out, I think of the weirdest things. I really, really do. And believe me, I can come up some absolutely blinded. Imagine if your knees bent in the opposite direction to what they do now. Could you?
No.
Yeah.
No, mine don't. I've tried.
Yeah, well, could you imagine how interesting chairs would be?
What was that?
If your knees bent in the opposite direction to what they do now, can you imagine how interesting chairs would be?
Yeah, they would be quite interesting.
Yeah, you might need to put a hole in them, the chair, just to get comfortable. You never know.
It changes the whole everything. Yeah, where would your butt be?
Exactly. Watching television. But I tell you what, you wouldn't walk anyway because you would just, like a flea, you would jump now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, hopefully you can move and not just sit there.
Exactly.
On your head.
Well,
with your butt in the air.
Yeah, that's true too. Are you familiar with William Shatner, Captain Kirk?
Oh, yeah, Bill. Bill's a great guy, yeah.
I see in the news this morning that Canada has asked him to remove his lingerie line from the shops.
Huh. I didn't know he had a lingerie line.
Yeah, but Shatner panties doesn't sound good, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
If you're if you're familiar with Star Trek,
I bet there's a market for it though out there somewhere.
yeah, I bet there is too. Believe me, that's weird. Literally. If you're familiar with Star Trek, of course, once upon a time, way back when they first started, he used to ask to be beamed aboard. These days he asks to be beamed up Scotty, but I mean, he was... The reason why they changed it is he kept getting clobbered by 4x2s.
Oh, yeah. 4x2s, huh?
Yeah, beam me aboard, smack. Got it. It could almost be as bad as Life is a Country Song for me, but for you, honestly, this is your most requested track. I've got to be honest with you, Johnny. Life is a Country Song. And we kind of touched on it as a little while ago about the lyrics and everything like that. But I got to ask you, where are you getting your work recorded at the moment? Give me a shout out for your recording studio.
This one was recorded, it was the last song added to the album, actually. It was just another one that came together real quick. The album was recorded at a couple different studios, one of them being Omni Sound Studios in Nashville, which was originally owned by Marty Robbins and has since flourished and maintained itself right in the same location in the heart of Music Row. And this particular track was recorded at Pentaveret Studios, which is more in the eastern part of Nashville, kind of tucked away amongst the industrial areas. And it's an analog studio, so they use more of the older techniques as opposed to going for the all-digital stuff. So you notice it kind of has a bit of a warm thing going on. And cool little tidbit, it's Jerry Reed's grandson playing drums on it, which is really cool. He's a very successful session player out there in Nashville. And it was magical watching it all come together.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Johnny. I actually play this in my car when I get on home at night, bang, and it's on my playlist. It comes up all the time.
Thank you.
And I got to be doubly honest with you. We have a very, very stringent process of being able to get artists to play here at Galaxy. Honestly, the board have just got our image in mind, so it goes past them. Barbara takes it to production, and then it comes to me in a little USB device that I actually play in my car. Now, I do that for two reasons. First reason is nobody else can influence me on whether or not I want to do the interview. It comes with no information, just the music, right? Second reason is nobody else wants to drive with me.
Gotcha. You're driving with the speed of light. I can see why.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether I can get the headlights to work properly or not. But the true story really does. You've passed all the criteria, literally, and making a huge impact here at Galaxy. As I said, we're in almost every English-speaking country in the world, and some that isn't, and everybody gets in touch with us. That's why we call it The Noise, because they tell us exactly what they like. So far, 2,173 requests for Life is a Country Song.
Wow.
And
thank you so much, people. I appreciate that.
You're becoming a consistent on my breakfast show, and I'm loving that idea. I really, really am. So much respect for you to that.
Thank you.
In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, here, joining us live is Johnny Young. Life is a Country Song. I love that track.
Okay, and Dwight over in the States wants to know where he's from.
Where he's from?
He's from Redwood, California.
He's from Redwood, California.
Redwood Valley.
Redwood Valley.
I've got two redwood trees growing.
And thank you for your question, Dwight. It's nice to have. It really, really is. I'm going to ask you the The question that Tony asked me a couple of minutes ago about whether you have a website and do you have merch on the website, stuff like that, because I've got people out there that while we're doing this, people are going on the interwebby, they watch the interview, but they're also checking out who I'm wearing, and they go and have a look at their websites, go and see if they can buy merch and stuff like that, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and Tony,
I'd be happy to send you guys a care package.
nice swag. I love swag. I do. I'll get Barbara to give you details there.
Please do. It's the least I can do, and I thank you so much for your support and your kind words. It means a lot.
Johnny, I'm an engineer myself, and I don't listen to music like a fan does. I listen to it as, you know, as an engineer, as a sales rep, as a DJ, if you want to put it like that. And I'm fascinated with your sound. I really, really am. Thank you for explaining to me it's not digital, because that's my era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Yeah, I even on the back end I had it mastered in an analog fashion, so every track got the analog tape treatment. We dumped it all onto 2-inch tape, and then sent it back in before it got replicated. So I wanted to make sure it was warm. You could turn it up, and it still, you know, when you turn up digital stuff, it starts getting distorted.
Yeah,
so
it starts.
I wanted to make sure it was warm, you know.
Nice. Well, believe me, that was the way I went many, many years ago. It's what I learned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I'm surprised that went in and out so quick, because it was a handy dandy little thing. You know, you could go down and get a VHS tape, and that was it. You know,
exactly.
It was great. You know.
Oh, believe me, I've recorded a few bands on that. That's for sure. I used to be the head engineer for an Australian band that went around the world for about 36 months. They had about 4 letters to their name, and they had a sudden stop at the end there, to be honest with you. But
sorry to hear that.
oh, well, that's life, and probably wasn't. But believe me, we had a lot of fun learning and doing. We had so many bloody staff members, it wasn't funny. We had 300 of us, three stages. One was being built, one was being used, and one was being broken down, you know what I mean? And it was leapfrogging wherever we were going. So believe me, we were up in the bigger echelons. But we're in Austin, Texas, doing some country dancing and stuff like that. We left there and went to Amsterdam. Now we had valets, so we used to try and get rid of our valets, because they just wanted us to go to the meets and greets and stuff like that. Well, we went to Amsterdam and we're on this barge getting alternative food, apparently. And I chose to ditch my valet and went running up these stairs, at the top of the stairs of this place, across a courtyard, past the church, red door. It had country dancing, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get some boot scooting on. I'll tell you what happened in a minute. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today I'm joined by Johnny Young. Now he's coming out of Redwood Valley. Okay, Dwight, thank you very, very much for your question. It's always a pleasure to be able to ask the nice ones, unlike some ladies who want to know, you know, basically. I just have to say, you got to come with a boat and a brewery before I'll even ask that question, okay, ladies? Believe me, that is... Johnny, are you married?
No, sir. No, never been married. No kids. Just music since I'm 6 years old. Music. Music.
Well, Shona, you might be lucky if you supply a boat and a brewery. Then you never know. Other than that, I'm not going to ask the question. But having said that, Johnny, I was saying to you that I was working with a band. We were in Amsterdam at the time. I ditched my valet because anything that we wanted, we used to have it delivered to our hotel motel rooms. We weren't supposed to go out into public or anything like that and get the down on the ground kind of feel for where you were. And I got to admit, one airport looked like another after another, and one motel room and one foyer, they all started to blend together, you know what I mean? So you beg to get out and just discover where you are and what it's like right there, instead of the official mayoral kind of deal and the meets and greets and the go to the museums and go to the art galleries and stuff like that. It was very, very boring. And we were in Amsterdam, and I ditched my valet, went running across this huge kind of ancient looking courtyard and past this really, really old church. Looked like Nostradamus or something had built back in the day, to be honest, and went up this the stairwell. At the top of the stairwell there was a little red door, and they had country dancing on it. So I went bowling in there thinking, this guy's behind me, he's going to find me, right? So I get in behind this door, and I thought, get some country dancing going on. We'd just come from Austin, Texas. Why not? I'm in. And I looked around, and there must have been about 300 people in there, all dancing in Dutch traditional garb.
Wow.
Fantastic. It really, really was. Believe me, the colours were absolutely splendid. There was silks and all sorts of things going on. But the weird thing about it was they were on a highly polished wooden floor wearing wooden shoes. Now, that's fascinating to me because I'm waiting for the carnage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was waiting for the carnage. Anyway, this young lady couldn't have been more than 18 years of age. Excuse me. Comes rocking up to me. Blonde hair, blue eyes, very angelic face. Looks at me, tilts her head a little bit and goes, "Do you clog?" And I went, well, being a Kiwi, I went, well, no. Not unless, not unless I've had too much cheese. I didn't get a date. I didn't, honestly. It didn't happen. But I did manage to find my crew who happened to be looking for me for a while. This was fascinating, though. These people could just, I've never seen anything like what they were doing at the time. So I had to stay and just watch, you know what I mean? Still waiting for that carnage. How the hell they managed to do that, I don't know. But it was absolutely fantastic. Loud too. Really, really loud. It really was. And as an engineer, I'm thinking, I can create some big sound, but 300 people with wooden shoes on wooden floors, that's an interesting concept in its own right.
Yeah, especially when it's all, synchronized.
Yeah.
All together. Yeah,
a
lot of power there.
Exactly.
But always say yes when they ask you these questions. Don't say no, say yes.
Well, I'm not a plumber.
Ah, I got you.
Do I clog? And here's a true story for you. In the news this morning here in New Zealand, in Auckland, our biggest city, Auckland is getting really, really freaked out right now because there is actually a set of plumbers running around with vans that look like police vans. They're almost, on the side it's written polite, but they've got the same markings and everything like that. They're scaring the living hell out of people in Auckland.
Huh.
I want a job.
Yeah.
I want a job. I do. I'd love to drive one of those around Auckland just for a laugh. You know what I mean? See.
Yeah, we've been mistook for police touring around in these plain white with tinted window vans, extended passenger vans in this country.
Okay.
And people have waved at us and said, "Hi, you guys are the police," and we're like, we're a band. I don't know what you're talking about, but some places of the country they see those vans and that's what they automatically think of. So.
Okay, well, we see those vans here almost every day. They have white jackets and they come to take me to the ward every now and again. That's
why you're locked in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And believe me, I've got a guy with a gun standing at the door waiting to take me back for my afternoon meds, to be honest with you. Not quite. Don Pierce is watching. Nice to have you on board, Don. It really, really is. Jody Medford. Love the fish that I saw your wife holding the other day. That's a fantastic piece of animal. It really, really is. I hope you're going to eat it and not stick it on the wall. You used to terrify your little dog with all those stuffed fish on the wall. In fact, I was just wondering, did the dog end up there?
No.
Oh, that's not nice.
Oh, believe me. The poor dog was mortified.
naughty.
He would go
I'm
out
so
fishing
sorry,
and he'd come back and
Jody.
put this thing on the, and then the poor little dog was looking. I was watching a video one day and this dog's looking at it, it's like, poor thing. Anyway. Moving on.
Sorry, Jody.
Dear. And we familiarised ourselves with everything. You can see why I did mention to Johnny right from the start, if he needs a psychiatrist at the end of this, I have one. I do. Either that or a stiff drink maybe.
You know people know you.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, maybe that stiff drink would be good. That's very therapeutic sometimes.
Now, we kind of covered, you're doing a bit of work, you're getting a few shows under your belt right now.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of coming to maybe Australia and New Zealand and doing a few tours down this way, down in the Antipodes?
Yeah, I've considered it many times. As previously stated, I've got a friend or two down there, but I really love how enthusiastic people are about music down there. I've yet to do my first shoey. I don't know if you guys have an equivalent in New Zealand of a shoey.
Well, not without cream.
Gotcha.
Yeah. if you have to apply cream, we're trying to keep away from those kinds of things. By the way, your friend in Queensland, I got to let you know, I was talking to a member of Parliament from Canberra over in Australia a couple of days ago. And just recently, of course, you know that the monarch had passed away, the Queen's passed away, now we have a new king, right?
Yeah.
Queensland is in turmoil. They don't know whether they should change their name to Kingsland now.
Yeah, this doesn't have a ring to it.
No, and where would I send everybody that wears dresses and high heels?
Yeah, exactly. They just wouldn't feel comfortable.
Those blokes would be out of place now, wouldn't they?
You could send them to San Francisco. They might feel at home there.
Yeah, but then actually, there's still the accent, I suppose. There's similarities there. Hilly streets there, though, got to be honest. Weren't you, Barbara was mentioning to me that you were born in San Francisco. Is that accurate?
No.
No, Orange County, actually, and that's further down south.
Okay.
And I left there early, moved up to the Pacific Northwest, where I really started getting an appreciation for the outdoors and hunting and fishing and stuff like that. So
nice.
I still once in a while go back down there and visit, and things have changed drastically down there, dramatically from what it used to be, But
well,
but yeah.
They don't do as much LSD these days there, I've heard.
I don't know. I think, the drug of choice has probably turned more designer these days.
Yeah.
Either
than pharmacy.
Yeah, the old surfing spots are kind of overrun with people, and the culture's changed a little bit, but that doesn't mean there's still not some beautiful places down there. But I've just become more in love over the years with smaller rural areas and nature, stuff like that. So Southern California doesn't really appeal to me on that front, but I do have some very dear friends down there and a lot of nostalgia.
Very, very cool. I actually do like San Francisco. The last time I was there, I was at the airport and some dude tried to sell me a bridge.
Did I sell you what?
A bridge.
A bridge?
Yeah,
okay.
He said he's got a big sort of red one for sale if I ever considered, moving to San Francisco, and apparently had connections with trams.
Interesting.
I just couldn't see getting one of those vehicles in a dress.
Yeah, well, you have to learn how to clog too.
Yeah, believe me, especially on a tram, that might be funny. Could be very interesting. Tell me about Tony Lama Blues. Now, who's Tony Lama?
Tony Lama is a renowned boot company. They make cowboy boots.
Okay.
And this is another true story on the album. I was not having such a good day with the missus, and she decided to throw my boots on the roof. She told me to leave, but then threw my boots on the roof. So I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I walked outside, looked up on the roof, and I said, man, this is going to be a song someday. And just put it together like that. And I kind of tested the song and ran it by some friends, and they all got a chuckle out of it. And my producer said, hey, let's do it, So
Well,
We decided to put it on there.
I got to be honest with you. It was a toss-up, literally, when we were discussing how we structured this particular segment between Life as a Country Song and Tony Lama Blues. There's basically, I think, about a handful of requests in it. There's nothing in it, literally. So we decided to go with first country song. Now we're going to do Tony Lama Blues. Second most requested track here at Galaxy.
Yeah.
How many
You
countries
could
are
clog to
tuned in?
that too.
I'm sorry?
I could see him clogging to that song.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean,
Got that clog beat.
yeah, absolutely. I get it. How many countries are tuned in?
162.
162
Hannah,
countries
could you not
tuned in
sleep,
right now.
darling?
That's not
That's
bad.
great.
That's not bad. How many cities?
2342.
Nice. 2,342 cities around the world are tuned
All
in.
my best friends.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to buy them all a beer.
No.
No,
No.
not at once.
Water for everybody.
Oh,
Stay hydrated.
yeah. Go to the tap. Help yourself. Because even water's expensive here these days.
Liquid gold, my friend.
Go to the bar. All the ladies drink bloody water these days. How the hell do you get them pissed to get them home?
Yeah, because our men make us drive
Yeah,
home,
exactly.
that's why.
Gotta get a little lubricated. Lose those inhibitions a little.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't do that with water. The only thing that you do successfully do with water as well, you see she's off to the toilet again.
You guys are like that. Yeah, can't cut that
All the
out.
talk of water.
Yep, believe me. But it's worth it, honestly.
You've
It's,
got Hannah watching from the Heartland Reese Band.
I know Hannah's watching from the Heartland Roots Band, and it's such a pleasure to have Hannah. I was talking to her, met her for the first time today, and I love that band. They are great. They really are. They're in line for what, being the most consistent band on Galaxy?
Could be.
Fantastic.
Still got a
You
few
have to
months
see
to
when the
go.
awards come out, eh?
Yeah, a few months to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I wonder if she's had toast.
Well, she should be sleeping. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
what is it?
1:33 in the morning.
Really? I thought...
That's the peak of musician hours right there.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
is.
think
It
so.
is. Believe me. That's right. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and well, you're right here with Johnny Young. And it is such a pleasure to finally catch up with Johnny Young. I think the first time I heard of Johnny, he was doing a show somewhere in California, and we were promoting literally a night out. I think it was it a solo night that you were doing a few weeks ago over in some part of California?
It's really
Yeah, that was the song origin for One Bar Town, Calapella.
Ah, there you go.
I remember that. I was tuned in when you said that, and I appreciate the shout out.
Yep, my pleasure. And believe me, I've been listening to your music ever since I wanted to know more about you, if you know what I mean. So it has been such a pleasure meeting you. We are going to wrap it up right now, but please don't go anywhere just yet. Do you have a couple of final little questions? First of all, I have a fan that wants to be able to connect with your website to be able to see if you've got any merch. Would you possibly give us your website so that fan can go and have a look through your April?
But of course, it's going to be Johnny with an H, Johnnny, JohnnyYoungCountry.com.
Absolutely brilliant. And I'm sure you've got all your music on there that they can acquire CDs and downloads and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, it links to like all the, the online platforms and stuff like that. And you can also purchase my album there in CD form.
And now I'm kind of worried because I did ask you if, did answer if you're on all the platforms. I don't answer it. Literally, I really don't. Otherwise, I'd never get anything done. I've got to be honest with you. but believe me, I'm so very, very busy here. So if you answer, well, brilliant. Absolutely good on you. And now you're going to get about 5,000 Facebook fans go, excuse me, Johnny, can I spend some time and talk to you? So you're going to be a busy man. Really, really.
Great. I'm up for the challenge. I love talking to people, especially ones enthusiastic about the arts and music and living the good life.
Well, believe me, I'm very, very envious of you. I really, really am. I'd love to be able to do what you're doing. I don't sing myself. I can't sing. In fact, I wouldn't do that to any human or any living being that could understand it. Literally, it make ears bleed. I've said to Hannah before, I've seen windows blow out. Yeah, literally. In fact,
Powerful stuff right there.
Oh,
powerful.
Actually, I sing tenor, or maybe 12 miles away from any human being that can hear me, literally.
10 or 12?
10 or 12, yeah. Many, many miles away. But I am going to have to wrap this up right now. Johnny, just one last question.
Yeah.
Anything new coming in the near future?
Yeah, I'm working on another album in Nashville. And I've got some really cool tour dates going on. I'm going to be on tour for the next couple months, and in and out of that, working on a new record. Yeah, just looking forward to things.
So, will you come back for another interview? Will you subject yourself?
I would love to. Yeah, yeah. Maybe in the fall you can contact me when I'm down in Arizona, and we can give you a Southwest update.
Okay, which part of Arizona?
I'll be twisting around pretty much the whole western part of the state. I'll be down there October through March.
Okay.
Yeah.
My father comes from there.
Great.
And I was born in Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, my mom was in Prescott. And I'll be playing a little bit around there, Casa Grande, out towards Wickenburg. There's a lot of Wild West culture out there. And just, again, doing these little towns, the Lake Havasu area. Just getting out there, a lot of snowbirds. A lot of people come down from all over, from Canada, from the Midwest, and spend a lot of, winter months down there and stuff. And they dance every dance. They're just good people. So I can't wait to get back down there.
Absolutely. And believe me, give us some of your details and everything like that of where you're playing, and we'll give you a promo on air. We would love to be able to follow you, if you know what I mean, and keep an eye on how you're going. Would love to have you back again, Johnny. Really, really would.
Thank you. I'd love to come back anytime soon. And in the meantime, I will stay in touch and keep in touch with what you guys are up to as well.
Nice. How would you like to do me one last little favour? Next time you're near a recordable 58, how would you like to do me a couple of voice drops saying, "Hi, this is Johnny, and you can hear me on Galaxy," stuff like that. Because literally, the more times people hear your name, hear your voice, hear everything about you, the more times they go on and follow you on the interwebby things, start buying product and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I've got a little home studio. I can whip something up for you any old time.
Nice. Country Music Social Media is on board. Nice to have Ken on board from the UK at the moment. Nice to have you on board. You've watched a couple of ours this morning, my friend. It's absolutely fantastic.
He's asking a question.
I'm sorry?
He's asking a question.
Asking a question. Okay, let me have a look here. Any UK tour dates in the future, Johnny?
I wish. Nothing on the books yet, but, find me a good club. I'll come over there. I'll come play anywhere. You send me a suggestion. JohnnyYoungCountry@gmail or JohnnyYoungCountry.com. There's a little envelope at the top of the page. Click on it. That's the message. I'm happy to, anywhere I can get to, I'm happy to come play for good people.
Well, Johnny, let me introduce you to Ken, who is watching right now from Country Music Social Media. These guys promote bands, they promote artists, and we get a lot of work from these guys, and we beg for more. They do such a good job. I am so very, very proud to be part of Ken's world and being able to get those musicians out there. You never know. He might right now be planning on having a chat to you and saying, "Hey, listen, let's get you over here in the UK and playing with bands like the Heartland Roots Band and stuff like that." Believe me, you've got members of that band watching you right now. So you never know what the future holds. And, we might be able to get you over this way as well, down to the Antipodes.
I would be honored. I really would. And my tour ends in March of next year, and then it's wide open right now. So So yeah, get at me, man.
There you
I'd
go,
love to come
Ken.
do it.
There you go, Ken. You never know what the future holds between the two of you. Just one more question after we wrap this up, Barbara. Can I talk about the magazine?
Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely. Because I do have a little side thing that I think you'd be very, very interested in. And it's all again about promoting Johnny Young. Okay? So believe me, you might be very interested in this. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us here at Galaxy. And we'll be back again on Tuesday. Barbara's not back to work until Tuesday with two more very, very cool artists. Believe me, you're going to love them. Can't let you know what they are just yet because I haven't got a schedule just yet. But I know they're going to be...
Phil.
I do. Okay, well, I'll let you know then. Look at that. Kiwi band, The After, of course, a good friend of ours, Andrew Featherstone. He's in Manila right now, so we're going to be catching up with our very good friend. Of course, I knew Andrew when he had the recording studio Area 51 in Auckland. Chasing Phoenix, we're going to be talking to Z and Ronnie on Tuesday. Then on Thursday, Sharice D'Souza coming out of India. Of course, Mumbai, one of those two. She jets around. And Manika Bo coming out of New Jersey, or Jersey. Believe me, I've got a psychiatrist coming out of Jersey. She reckons I could be a cab driver there. Really, she really does too. So join us then. But thank you very, very much for joining us today. Of course, we were talking to Johnny Young here at Galaxy. Have a great weekend. Catch you on Tuesday. Catch you on Monday, actually.
Galaxy.